Hi, it's Stephanie, and this is lesson 21 of the B2 course. So in this lesson, we have a grammar focus, and it's the first of two lessons where we will be concentrating on the future perfect tense. So my name's Stephanie, this is level B2 and lesson 21. Now, in this lesson, we are going to look at the future perfect simple, and we'll be focusing on three areas. Firstly, how to form the future perfect simple. Secondly, the meaning of the future perfect simple. And thirdly, the use of the future perfect simple. So three key areas to look at today. And we're going to start with the form. So let's have a look at this sentence. In 10 years' time, most people will have installed solar panels on their homes. So if you notice the part that I've highlighted, will have installed, this is the future perfect simple. So we make this with will plus have plus the past participle. Okay, so here we have examples of a positive, negative, and question form using future perfect simple. Positive, people will have installed solar panels. Negative, people won't have installed solar panels. So you have will not contracted to won't. And the question, will people have installed solar panels? So as we've talked about before, when we meet a new tense, it's very important to look at it in a positive, negative, and a question form. Okay, let's move on and have a look at the meaning. So we use the future perfect to mean that something will already be complete before a time or at a time in the future. Let's look at some examples. If I work from 9 a.m. to 5 a.m., at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow, I will have gone to work. So again, will plus have plus the past participle. At 6 p.m. tomorrow, I will have finished work. So again, we're using to explain that something will be completed. I will have gone to work. I will have finished work. Okay, and the final stage, let's look at the use. So three uses for the future perfect simple. Number one, when we want to explain that something will be finished. Example, call me after 2, I will have finished my meeting then. Number 2, if we want to make predictions about the future. Global temperatures will have risen by 2050. And number 3, if we want to explain a time frame or a result. By the end of this year, they will have been married for 25 years. So you can see this is a more sophisticated tense, and at this level, this is something we should be trying to incorporate into our language. If you're studying for an exam, using a tense such as future perfect simple correctly will, of course, get you extra marks. Okay, so I think now we need to practice using this tense. So let's have a look at some practice examples. Can you complete this conversation using the verb finish? So there are 3 spaces that I want you to complete, and I want you to use a positive statement, a negative statement, and a question form using the verb finish. So it's a conversation between A and B. A, I have to go to a meeting this morning. B, I need to arrange a conference call with you. You at 10:30. A, no, I at 10:30. Call me at 11:30. Then. Okay, so pause the slide and see if you can complete the 3 gaps using the verb finish and a future perfect simple tense. How did you do there? Shall we have a look together? Okay, so here is the answer. A says, I have to go to a meeting this morning. B, I need to arrange a conference call with you. Will you have finished at 10:30? A, no, I won't have finished at 10:30. Call me at 11:30. I will have finished then. So this is useful practice of the 3 different forms, the positive, the negative, and the question. And well done if you got those correct. I think this slide also illustrates how useful this tense can be when you're wanting to explain to somebody when something will have finished. For example, somebody wants to call you. Don't call me at 6, I'll be busy. Call me at 7, I will have finished then. So it's a very useful way to explain when something is completed at a particular point in the future. Okay, if you remember, the second use of the future perfect simple is to make predictions. So let's have a look at these pictures. And my question is, what will life be like in the year 2050? Have a look at these pictures and can you make 3 predictions using the future perfect? So some different options here, but have a look at the pictures and see if you can make 3 guesses, 3 predictions about what life will be like in the year 2050. So pause the slide and make a note of your answers. Okay, do you have 3 ideas there? Let's have a look at what my ideas were. Okay, so my 3 sentences. Number 1, the polar ice caps will have melted. Number 2, the global temperature will have risen. And number 3, rare breeds will have become extinct. So again, this tense, very important if you're going to make predictions in the future. So again, in a business context, this could be a very useful tense for you to use. Okay, so we had 3 positive statements there. Can you make some negative statements and disagree? So think about the 3 predictions we had. Can you disagree and make these into negative sentences about the future? So again, pause the slide and then we'll check together. Okay, let's have a look. So remember, to make the negative, you use will plus not, contract it to make won't. So the ice caps won't have melted. Number 2, the temperature won't have risen. And number 3, rare breeds won't have become extinct. So again, depending on your point of view, you might have a positive or a negative statement there, depending on what you think will happen in the future, based on your prediction. Okay, and let's have a practice talking about results and time frames. So I've got 3 sentences for you here talking about results and time frames. Can you complete the sentences? Number 1, Dave is running a marathon. When he finishes, he 26 miles. So here we're thinking about the result. Number 2, Sally collects stamps. She needs 43 more to complete her collection. When she finds them, she 100. So here use the verb collect. And again, here we're talking about a result. And number 3, Emma and Paul have been engaged for 6 months. By the time they get married, for 1 year. So again, here we're thinking about the time frame. So pause the slide and see if you can complete the 3 sentences using future perfect simple and the verbs that I have given you. Okay, how did you find that? Let's check through our answers together. Okay, so the first sentence, number 1. Dave is running a marathon. When he finishes, he will have run 26 miles. Number 2. Sally collects stamps. She needs 43 more to complete her collection. When she finds them, she will have collected 100. Number 3. Emma and Paul have been engaged for 6 months. By the time they get married, they will have been engaged for 1 year. Really well done if you managed to get those 3 sentences correct. Hopefully you can see that it's a very easy tense to form. It's always the same, will plus have plus the past participle. You just need to be careful if the past participle is irregular. So run, ran, run, for example. You need to make sure that you choose the past participle. Collect is a regular verb. Collect, collected, collected. So no problems there. Okay, so in these examples, we looked at other people and we talked about what they will have done. Now let's think about you. So my next question is, can you think of 5 things that you will have done by this time tomorrow? So 5 things that you will have finished, you will have done by this time tomorrow. So pause the slide and see if you can write down 5 sentences, if you can. Do less if you can't think of 5 examples, or you could extend the time frame and make it by this time next week. But see if you can write down some things that you will have done. Pause the slide and then we will have some ideas together. Okay, did you manage to write down some ideas? So by tomorrow is obviously quite a short time frame, but you still need to use the future perfect tense. So things that you will have done by this time tomorrow. Maybe I will have worked another full day. I will have finished my report. I will have seen my friends. I will have studied another English lesson with Perfectly Spoken. I will have visited a different place. Anything that's going to be finished by a point in the future, you need to use the future perfect simple. Okay, so well done. If you would like us to check your answers, you can, of course, email them to us and we will have a look at your answers and give you some feedback. So if you would like to, you can send your answers in to Perfectly Spoken. If you put on your email that it's level B2, lesson 21, we will check your answers and give you some feedback. Okay, so as I explained, this is the first lesson of 2 on the future perfect tense. If you want to go to the next one, that will be lesson 23. The next lesson in the sequence, lesson 22, is going to be a vocabulary lesson, and we're going to be talking about the verb take, a very, very common verb in English that we use in lots of different ways. So we're going to be looking at expressions with take, and we'll also look at some phrasal verbs that use take. So really interesting lesson 22, and then we'll be back to the future perfect 2 in lesson 23. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.